You're listening to GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
There is hope, my friends, but we have to admit how serious things have gotten. We can't be in denial about this. I mean, here they are calmly reporting, oh, in Illinois, National Guard's going to go door to door confiscating guns. People can rationalize New Orleans and surrounding towns. They go into high and dry areas, and the Army, regular Army, would march in with the police and confiscate guns. And the police chief came out and said, we're confiscating all the guns, and people were still in denial. Well, now in Oakland, California, and Tucson, Arizona, Dallas, Texas, Boston, Massachusetts, everywhere, Washington, D.C., they're having knock and talk where they just come to your door. And started in Tucson. It actually started in pro-gun areas like Arizona and Texas. In Dallas, I saw the Dallas Morning News like 4 years ago. And it described middle-class areas, and they come during the day when they think the husbands aren't there. It's totally criminal. It's called knock and talk. And they knock, and don't deny it, folks. Go Google it. Don't just say I'm making this up. The country dies if you do that. You understand? They go to the door, and they say, we'd like to look and see if your guns are legal. We're just here randomly. No due process, no probable cause. Just it's a federal grant to come ask about your guns. And they have the gun buyback programs, which gives the people the image of folks lined up handing guns in for money. All to condition you. They did the same thing in Australia and England before they banned guns. Same thing in Canada. They banned half of what they registered there. Totally banned guns in places like England. And the crime rates, of course, explode. But, Obama wants 1 million teenagers with guns in uniforms spying and fighting the terrorists that are hiding under every cupboard. And the news is telling you for like 6 months now, and I told you they'd say this because we got documents on it a year ago. There's blonde-haired, blue-eyed Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda's everywhere. Remember we said first they'll train you that it's Muslim Al-Qaeda, which doesn't exist either. And then they would move on to, actually, everybody's Al-Qaeda. Black people, white people, they're all Al-Qaeda. And then now I've had national talk show hosts and Congress and others say that I am Al-Qaeda. That Alex Jones, he's Al-Qaeda. Oh, did Al-Qaeda write the PNAC documents where they said they'd use bioweapons on us and kill us? Our government did. By the way, there's all these thousands of admitted examples where the criminals that run our government from the 40s right through to the last stuff declassified in the 80s, and it's still going on. They declassify things every 20-something years, so we're in the mid-90s now. Mid-80s now, excuse me. And they just came right out and say that they've tested lethal chemical, biologicals, radiologicals in every major city of the U.S., killing people in many of the cases. Just type U.S. troops killed by nerve gas or New York subway sprayed by biological weapon. And you'll read it and go, wait a minute, the government says give up all my rights. There's these people that want to nerve gas me or use chemical or biologicals. And by the way, there's a lot of weak-minded people out there going, wait a minute, I never heard about that. Well, you must be hiding under a rock. I mean, everybody knows there's been chemical, biological, radiological testing. Let me ask both the guys running the show. Before you ever heard of my radio show or ever did stuff, Paul and Trey, did you ever see on the news, I want to see, or hear them talk about chemical, biological, radiological testing on the U.S. population?
Tuskegee experiments.
But, I mean, you hadn't heard about the other stuff where they spray biologicals on cities?
I mean, I was just starting with this, the easiest.
But, I mean, how much had you heard of before you ever heard of me?
Oh, sure. I mean, I've talked to people who have heard of all the cloud seeding and chemical spraying they've been doing for years. I mean, I know people who've heard about it who are
what about you,
twice
Paul?
My age.
What about you? So you had never heard. See, well, for those that don't know, you can go to the Department of Energy, like I said earlier, and they'll tell you how they murdered thousands of U.S. children. They take them from poor families, walk them in, and radiate them to death. Now, that was really to create cadres of killers in the government. It wasn't about testing radiation. It was about seeing what they could get away with. Now, if you don't know about this, listeners, you need to go find out and then understand. Now you know why they'll do these type of things. They're totally ruthless. They believe the end justifies the means, and now they want to have 1 million to start with. Youth running around spying and tattling on you. They have felons and illegal aliens filling the police force, filling the military force. all the mainstream news articles on that. Just Google it, and you'll have just scores of mainstream news. Just type police departments hiring, they'll use the politically correct word, immigrants. Police forces, but one AP headline in New Mexico did say illegal immigrants. You can just pull it up for yourself, ladies and gentlemen, right now. Don't deny. And if you didn't know history, they hire foreigners and felons because they'll follow illegal, tyrannical orders. Mao, Hitler, Stalin, they all did it. Okay? They also hire young forces. Mao did it. You notice that Al Gore, who was just here in town, he's getting 10 million youth brigades, and they're all over the place, slicing the SUV tires all over the country, egging SUVs. You know, the police don't investigate it, the news won't report on it, but here and there, burning down ski resorts, burning down homes. That's the type of brigades that Al Gore is recruiting. Oh, yeah, you didn't know about the environmental terrorists out there? They're to be turned loose against the middle class. They're all going to be the new officers to regulate and control your carbon footprint, to control your daily life. Paul's in there shaking his head. Paul, I can Google it right now. I'm serious. This is what they're doing. This is who they're hiring. Now, let's go ahead and get into these coffins. If you go to Infowars.com right now, you can read this and see all the YouTube videos. And you can go to the company website that, if it's not the same company, it's this company or just licensed it from them, because it is the, and we're not saying they're a bad company for selling, mass grave coffins. It's just the fact that we're reporting on that. So I want to be clear, the company isn't bad. They're allowed to be in business and sell this to the government. And in the past, we would see articles about 1 million body bags ordered by FEMA, or 300,000 plastic coffins ordered by Homeland Security. I mean, we've had all those articles. We just have never, but people don't care about an article or a news story. They want to see the coffins. So some folks in Georgia saw one of these facilities, and we've got Google photos of it and ground photos and video of it, and it is more than 500,000 of these giant coffins stacked outside. You'll have big stacks of lids and then stacks of the coffins, one inside the other. And they also have other systems that you can go read about. They also have urns for your cremated body. And this is in Georgia. The company is Polyguard Vaults, but they're in Alabama. This is a separate area, a FEMA leased area, just sitting right out by the side of a highway for the last couple of years. And finally, we've mentioned this before, but finally, this is really getting big news on the web, and a big report's being done by Kurt Nimmo right now. In fact, it may be up. I know he's working on it to have it up by the end of the show. Why are tens of thousands of plastic burial vaults stacked in a field near Madison, Georgia, is the headline. Polyguard Vaults, and you go to their website, and we also have photos of the trucks, giant 18-wheelers, huge 18-wheelers with these extra long flatbeds, just totally stacked with the coffins that go one inside the other like plastic Dixie cups, and they're just all there. Now we know this is FEMA. We know that these are coffins. Some people are debating that because we have all the news articles where it says FEMA's ordered coffins and body bags by the millions. This is just one stockpile just a few miles away from the Atlanta airport, which is the largest airport in the United States. So you can go there and look at these. Now, the FEMA and the CDC say that they're, by the way, this is nearby the CDC, Centers for Disease Control. They say that they're only doing this in case there's a mass biological outbreak. You've just got to remember that it's the government, the criminals that have hijacked our government, or National Security Act of 47, who fully took over when they killed President Kennedy in 63, and now under PDD 51 openly says that the White House is a dictatorship and that Congress has no authority. The chairman of the Homeland Security Department for 6-7 months, it's been going on for 11 months total since one of the people on the committee asked to see the documents. They're not even allowed to see the fully declassified, / classified version. But on the cover sheet of PDD 51, Presidential Decision Directive 51, it says that the president is a dictator. And people say, well, everything will be all right. Barack Obama will soon be in, or John McCain will. They're just puppets. They run nothing. They're there to carry out their orders. Understand? It's that executive branch that allows the private corporations that have hijacked our government to have, at least on the surface, the look of government. But a president declaring himself dictator is totally illegal and illegitimate. See, that's what you've got to ask yourself. Do you stand with the Bill of Rights and Constitution or with the New World Order? Do you stand with the Republic and the Founding Fathers or the dirtbag globalists? We'll be right back with the second hour and your calls. More on the topic.
It's no